Okay, folks, here we go again. Did not think I was going to be talking about Periscope ever again, but we're back. All right, so if you have ever streamed or posted video to Periscope or to Twitter Live and haven't already backed up, downloaded those videos, you're going to want to do that like now. Because without any real warning, our buddies over at Twitter are going to be deleting all of that video content. So we're going to talk about what you need to do, what your options are, and we're going to talk a little bit about what this might mean for Twitter Spaces. So let's get this going. Hello and welcome. So if you have ever streamed or posted video to Periscope and or Twitter Live, buckle up, here we go. We got some stuff to talk about. As has been happening over in the Twitter world of late, things are happening without a lot of notice and certainly not a lot of information. So let me just show you what has brought all this about. And that would be this message that came up one time when I logged into one of my Twitter accounts. Now, understand, I have in the past used Periscope for multiple things. I have done Twitter Live for multiple things, but I've only seen this on one account. And as you can see, I'm going to just read this to you. We're removing previously recorded broadcasts. Our records indicate that you may have previously recorded broadcasts through Twitter Live or Periscope. If you'd like to retain any broadcasts you've recorded, you'll need to download them soon or risk losing them. Notice no dates. You can visit our help center to learn more about the changes we're making, blah, 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 and how you can download your broadcasts. Okay, so partially true. There is information out there, and of course the links are in the description. We'll look at them real quick for how to get your content down. There is no information about this particular thing. As is what the pattern these days with Twitter, you have to catch these things when they get mentioned. And if you go looking for more information, you're pretty much out of luck because there's not enough staff there to do anything about updates. So that part of it was absolutely a wish. We'll put the best possible spin on it. It was a wish by the person who put this message out there, but I've tried to get the message to come back up. I'm so glad I screen capped it the moment it happened. Because that's it. That's all we know. That's all we've been told. We've been given no dates, nothing. So if you have any content out there that you want to keep and you have not already backed it up or created, downloaded it or whatever, you need to do that. And you need to do that like yesterday. Don't hesitate on this. Don't wait, because when it's gone, it's going to be gone. And if you don't have a backup, then you're going to be, sorry, SOL. All right. So let's kind of level set for people. Like around here, I just wanted to get that out of the way for the TLDR folks. But I like to get everybody on the same page. So let's just roll back a little bit and talk about how we got here. Periscope actually launched in 2015. So it actually was around many, many years ago. So it was just after Meerkat and before Vine, for those of us who have been around the internet for more than 20 minutes. And at that point, it was a major streaming social platform. Like that was the place everybody went to. There was a lot going on. It had a lot of features. Like if you were a content provider, like it was a good place to be. You could monetize, you could interact with your community. There was a lot of good stuff going on there. And it was available all over the place. Even with the speeds, the internet speeds, like the mobile speeds being so much less than what we have today, it still worked, and it worked well. Fast forward to today. Well, actually, as of March 31st, 2021, Periscope was gone. So what happened was Periscope launched, and immediately, actually before most of us even had access to it, it was already acquired by Twitter. So it happened very quickly in the very beginning of it. And the two universes ran along parallel perfectly fine. The Periscope people did their thing, the Twitter people did their thing, and everything was good. And then in 2021, the decision was made to end Periscope for streaming. And the explanation at that time, there were a bunch of different explanations that they gave us. But one of the ones that was kicked around a lot was that Periscope's features had been incorporated into Twitter, and that was drawing people away from the Periscope app. That was never quite true. But more importantly, even though Twitter owned Periscope and had the rights to all of the code and all of the programmers and all of the features, they never really incorporated everything that Periscope could do into Twitter. Actually, they integrated like next to nothing. The hearts were so like you could hit the screen and make hearts come up if you were enjoying the content to provide some feedback to the content provider. But other than that, all of the discoverability stuff, the chat, just went away, and they never incorporated it into Twitter, which I always thought was a majorly bonehead decision. Like, I don't know why that happened. I don't know what was going on at that point, but that just never made any sense to me. So we actually lost a lot by having to move into Twitter Live. Also, at the point where Periscope was put down, I'm going to read this. So we were told that Periscope Web at periscope.tv will remain available as a read-only archive of public broadcasts. Now, even at that point, I was telling people don't count on that lasting forever. I did not think it was going to go away as quickly as it's happening. But, nothing lasts forever, and that's the way it is. But you do, it is what it is. And if you've got stuff on somebody else's server, at any point they can shut that down, and you're just out of luck. So, all right. So we're having some conversation. I'm just going to pull up a couple here because this is quite timely. Send that over. So Marcus says probably no information because nobody knows that, even Twitter. Yeah, I think that's the case. I don't think there's enough people left there to know what's going on, and the ones that are there are spending all of their time putting out fires. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to go on there. So Jason's saying that Twitter charges us for 1080p video uploads, but it doesn't really matter if they're going to delete our videos. It's such a weird move, right? Well, okay, but if you look at what's been going on, yes, it's a weird move, but it's one of many. It's one of very many that are going on. So, yeah, so Periscope for streaming has been gone for quite a while, but the content is still there. Like, I actually went a couple weeks ago just to see, and, the content was still hanging out there, which was nice to see. How many people are going to look at it, I don't know, but it was just nice to know that it was there. So Marcus is saying maybe they never figured out how to operate profitable, but that's the thing. Everything that I heard and read from industry folks was that Periscope was more than holding its own. It was very popular. Now, it did not get a lot of love after a certain point with Twitter. It did for a while, but you got the feeling that they were like cutting funding a lot because we weren't seeing new features being added. And certainly as things like, as the phones got better, as the cameras got better, as everybody's not everybody, as most people's internet bandwidth when they were out and about got better, you could do it mobile and you could do it from desktop. So I used to stream one of my clients. We multi-streamed to there and Facebook and to YouTube. So you could do it either way, but it was not keeping up with the new developments in video, mobile streaming. So that's certainly true. Again, I never worked for them, so I have no insider information. This is just what I heard or read, from people who know more about it than I do. But yeah, it was a shame because I think if they had been funded properly, like it could still be a major player today, but that didn't happen. So, okay, let's talk about why is Twitter doing this? Unfortunately, the answer is who knows, right? Because, again, I'm sorry. However you feel about what's going on Twitter, the reality for everybody across the board is nobody knows what the hell's going on, and the information we get is worthless because it changes every 2 seconds. That said, regardless of what is or isn't going on over there, it is clear that since the takeover, I'm not even going to say his name, since the takeover, the focus on audio has disappeared from Twitter. So there was a big push when they first came out with Twitter Spaces, particularly because that was the audio only, to really get people using that. And there was a lot of support behind it, and people were talking about it, and it's like vaporized to the point where most people don't even know that it is technically still there. Although it did go down for a significant period of time. I think it was in December of last year, and it's been a little wonky ever since. But I mean, technically it is still there and you can still use it. Twitter Live again is still there. He said, they're charging you for anything they can think they can possibly charge you for, even though they're going to be, deleting your videos. So now, actually, I want to go back to that if you don't mind, Jason. And if you don't want to talk about it, it's totally fine. You know that around here. But have you paid? So because you're saying charging us. So have you paid on Twitter to get the 1080p? And if so, or even if you're not, but you've just streamed there, did you get the notification? Because I'm finding a lot of people that I know who actually rely on Twitter Live a lot didn't even know this was happening, because they're not people that necessarily pay attention to the tech news, and the notification never came up for them. So hence that's why I'm doing this show, because I want to make sure that my people out there know that this is happening and to be aware of it. So yeah, I'm just curious, like where you are on the spectrum with this particular thing, because I know you're doing your content in a lot of places, but I don't off the top of my head know that you are doing it on Twitter Live. So yeah, so that's, the whole video and audio thing has just not been getting a lot of love at Twitter. And I think, and most people that I'm reading are thinking that this has nothing to do with the popularity of it, with how important or not important it is. Let's face it. Okay, audio and video are important on social media now. There's no two ways about it. But that's not why this decision is being made. This is another decision that's being made to cut costs, right? That's why we're seeing what's happening going on over there across the board. They're either trying to charge us for things that they shouldn't be charging for, or taking things away that really make Twitter less valuable across the board. And certainly make it less of a must-have for people who are trying to run businesses. So, yeah. Okay, so Jason answered. Thank you for that, Jason. I appreciate that. So you're using Restream at 720 to send live video to Twitter. Okay, so you are using Twitter. But Twitter Premium wasn't worth it. I stopped since I wasn't fully using 1080p. Okay. So, but did you get any notification, email, anything from Twitter telling that, because you were a regular user? I only played with it. But as a regular user, did they make any effort to reach out to you? Because none of my people who have been using it heard boo from them. Not a word. And I got mine. I looked it up on the 6th when I happened to go in. And understand, I'm not in Twitter that much anymore. Like, I kind of cruise by every once in a while if I'm bored for a couple of seconds, waiting like between meetings. So it's now been a couple of weeks since I first saw this, and then I started seeing other people talking about it. It's wrong that they're not reaching out and telling the people who are really going to be impacted by this. In my opinion, your mileage may vary. So that's where we're at. Let's go up here. So, of course, if you are somebody who either has stuff on Periscope that you do want, and or stuff on Twitter Live that you have not already downloaded or backed up, your question is going to be, what about my existing videos? They're going to go away. They are going to go away, and I cannot tell you when, because nobody knows. It's a big secret. And one day he's going to be pissy and he's just going to pull the plug, literally. So the links are in the description, but I'm just going to show you real quick what it is that are your options, and we're going to talk about what you need to know. So this is the page that most people are linking to. And again, the links are all in the description. But this is the page that most people are linking to for how to get your broadcast off of Periscope. I don't recommend this method because you have to do this manually for each one. And if you have more than 5, you're not going to want to do this. So I put this link out there, which is how to get all of your stuff down. Okay. And whoops. Hold on, hang on. Where did my... Oh, I did it backwards. Okay, so I'm sorry. This is the one most people are sharing, how to save a Periscope broadcast, but it's just about bringing things down to your device. And this was really written more for when you were going live from your phone to Periscope back in the day. But this is actually the one that has the better information, because this gives you a way to say to the server, hey, I want all of my stuff, bring it down for me. And when you go, so you go in and you follow these steps, you're sending a data request. Now it says, once the request has been received, it may take 24 hours or longer. Okay, here. For Twitter to send you the zip file containing your data. That was true when they first took Periscope down. However, I ran a test on this last week just to see. It took me 3 tries, and it took me 72 plus hours to actually finally get the download file available to me. So again, things are not rock solid over there. So you're going to want to keep an eye on it. You're going to have to maybe do it a couple of times. You're going to need to stay on top of it. So when you put the request in, make sure you move quickly. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you do put that request in. You're going to have to log into your Periscope account, and you're going to have to take these steps. So you're going to have to do the request, and then it'll do it to your account. And then this is a little misleading because this is going to pop up right away. But like I said, 3 times it failed. Well, 2 times it failed. The third time last week, it did finally work for me. So you're going to have to wait. You come back, and then eventually you'll be able to go ahead and get your stuff. Now, this is the Periscope process. And again, like I said, the links are there, but the one that you're looking for is the one that is that ends in save broadcast. This gives you that option to take it down as a bulk download. You're just going to have to be very, very patient. Very, very patient and diligent to stay on top of it. So for anybody who's going to continue, so like Periscope, you can't stream to anymore. But if you are, this is excellent advice for anybody who is continuing right now to stream to Twitter Live. I would not mess around. Like every time you do a stream, this is excellent. This is exactly what I was going to say. If you're doing it now, every new one that you do, make sure you pull a copy, or you're recording it locally, or however you're doing it. But make sure you don't wait on that, because again, it's just going to go away one day with very little warning. That said, there are options for you to get it to bring it down in bulk also. The problem is you can't be specific. So again, the information is here, but what you have to do is you have to pull down your entire Twitter archive. So that's going to be a lot of stuff. So I hope you have a really good bandwidth connection. And again, doing the request, not always going to work the first time these days. So make sure you keep an eye on it after you put the request in, do the follow up on it, look for the emails and all that. And it will bring down everything. So when you get down here, it tells you that they're going to include, this kind of cracked me up the way this was worded. Okay, so it's actually kind of interesting, even if you don't have, even if you haven't used Twitter Live, it's kind of interesting just to do this, because they're going to include all the information that they believe is most relevant and useful to us, including profile information, your tweets, direct messages, moments, media. So that's images, videos, GIFs that you've attached to tweets, direct messages, or moments. So that would include your Twitter Live stuff. A list of your follows, a list of accounts you are following, and your address book. Lists that you've created or are a member of, interest and demographic information that we've inferred about you, about ads that you've engaged in. So it's going to do a core dump of your entire Twitter account. So my concern for that is people who don't have a lot of bandwidth. It would be nice if you could just say, no, I just want this. But evidently, if you ask for it, you get the fire hose. So again, it's going to take a significant amount of time. It may take multiple tries to even get the request processed. So don't wait. Go ahead, jump in and do it as quickly as possible. Okay, so Jason Murphy, please stop. Thank you. No notification on iOS Twitter app. I tried logging into browser. Unfortunately, it said verification text message was sent, but no text message was received. And welcome to Twitter in 2023. Yes. These are the kinds of things people are running into every day when it's up and running. So thank you for trying. I appreciate that. And I'm very, very disappointed to find out that you also were somebody who didn't get the notification. Hopefully you heard about it someplace else, or now I'm telling you about it. So at least now you're informed about it. Marcus is being funny. So we can learn what Twitter thinks about us. Well, we can learn what Twitter thought about us, I guess, at a certain point. I'm sure it's not completely up to date anymore because, again, I work in software development and we're hearing things, and what it's getting right now is a little, hey, he's messing with things he shouldn't be messing with. Yeah, so things are not, it'll be what they had collected, and assumptions they made, and whatever posts, whatever you made, hopefully. But at a certain point, the data gets a little wonky. But whatever. Yeah. Okay. So let's keep going here. Let me see, make sure I got all the stuff I wanted to tell you. Okay, so yes, I talked about the fact that, it's going to take time, doesn't always work the first time, don't wait. We don't have a hard date for when they're going to pull the plug on this. And given the volatile nature of things over there, I wouldn't wait, because the waiting is not in your best interest. Not that anybody needs another thing to do. I'm sure life is busy for everybody, especially here in the US. We're all trying to get our taxes done. But if you want this content and it would harm you or upset you or disappoint you to lose it, don't wait. Go ahead and get in there and get it while the getting's good. There you go. That's the way to go. All right. So I'm just going to wrap up by just touching on the other question that this has brought up for people. And that is, well, what does this mean for Twitter Spaces? So Twitter Live is live streaming, right? So it's video and audio. Okay. Twitter Spaces is an audio only thing where you can invite people in, people can hang out in the room and listen. You can invite people up on stage is what they call it, to have conversations. So it's sort of like an audio chat room crossed with sort of a podcast kind of thing, because that's how people kind of approach it. For the longest time, it was only available on iOS, but it is available on Android. If you've never ever heard of it, let me just show you real quick. Let me bring that down. So this is the promo page for it. Now, again, keep in mind that all the information on the Twitter website, including marketing, has not really been updated in a while. So it's going to talk about things in today times, even though that's not accurate. And in some places, it still says it's only iOS when actually it is iOS and Android now. But there, it's live audio. It's supposed to be accessible and discoverable, mostly. You can share the mic, so that means you can invite other people. And I do know some people who were seriously, into this as an option. But there was all kinds of information on it. And then, information on how to use it. But this is where, things got a little wonky. So at least this page has been updated to say, yes, you can use it on both iOS and Android. And you can record a space that lasts indefinitely on Twitter or until it's deleted by the hosts, except if you're using an older version of the app, in which case it's only good for 30 days. That's a little weird. But everybody that is talking about this right now is very quick to point out that they are concerned about Twitter Spaces as well, because Spaces is built on the same back-end infrastructure as Periscope, which I thought was interesting. Not even Twitter Live, but Periscope. So basically, the way to look at it is Periscope was video and audio, and Spaces is using the Periscope code for just audio. So since Periscope has been totally kicked to the curb and everything is going to be deleted, and this is about cost savings. Now, audio files are smaller than video files, but there's some solid concern in the Spaces area that Spaces is going to be next. Or the Spaces might just go away without warning because they're not really giving warning to anybody else. So if you are a Spaces person, again, I wouldn't risk it. I would go through the process, get your stuff downloaded. From here on out, every time you do one, make sure you download it right away, or you're doing a local recording, using whatever method you're using. But if this is content that you want to repurpose or be able to refer to later, again, grab it now. Don't wait, because when it's gone, it'll be too late. And that may be the only way you find out about it. Is you may need to go back for something, or you may have shared a link with somebody to an older one, and they come back to you and say, hey, I can't access it. Well, that might be the first time anybody finds out that also got killed. So yeah, that's where we're at with all of this. Again, not good news, but at least they haven't actually deleted it yet. So as of when I'm recording this, which is March 23rd, 2023, it's still there. So I would go ahead and jump on that soon, because at any point now, it will all just be gone and a faint memory. And if you don't have to download it. If you're happy for the past to go away, then that's fine. That's not, the point here. It's not like they're forcing you to download anything. Just don't want to mislead anybody. But this is for the people who might be concerned about losing it, like it would be a problem for them. All right, so I think we have covered all the conversation. Like I said, as always, the links are in the description, so don't worry, if you missed what I was showing here. But I would maybe, if you're relying on Twitter Live solely and or Twitter Spaces, I would suggest maybe starting to expand beyond that and maybe doing some of that content someplace else to prepare your audience for an eventual move, because that may be happening. All right. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have an idea for the show, you can reach out to me at yourtechcoach.com. If you need one-on-one consulting, I also do that, and you can find that information there. Please don't hesitate. That's what I do. This is what I do all day, every day. So, yeah, might as well join in on the party. And other than that, I hope everybody is having a good week, and the beginning of the spring season is treating you well. We will see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you are watching this on the replay, you can go ahead and jump in the comments. I do come back and reply to you there. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out in the chat and providing all that great information. You folks are such a help. I really appreciate it. And we will talk again soon. Bye.